Hey Salt and Pepper families, how are you doing? We have your week 1 litter update for these medium Australian Labradoodle puppies. And if you just take a look here, look at what little black collar is doing. What a position to nurse in. And sorry, these puppies are 2 weeks old, not 1 week old. If these were 1 week olds, they would be really huge. These are our 2 week old medium Australian Labradoodle puppies from our Salt and Pepper litter. And as you can see, little black collar girl is very good at problem solving. She figures, well, she wants to get her spot at the milk bar. She's the smallest in the litter. She's going to figure out an innovative way to get in there and get her fill. If you take a look at these puppies, you can see they're all just gleaming and the picture of health. In today's video, we are going to do your week 2 update. We're going to tell you all about what the puppies have been up to in the past week. We're going to show you whether or not they've met their next milestone, which is their eyes opening, and that's always such an exciting time. And we're going to give you an update on Mama Orca, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the partnerships you need to form when you have a puppy with the very important people in your life, which will be your vet, your groomer, and your trainer. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these puppies, oh my goodness, are they ever fat, juicy puppies. Just look at the spread on these kids and look at how strong they are. Their legs are incredible. These puppies, all 6 of them, are up on all 4s and starting to totter around. Now that's pretty early. Usually at 2 weeks, they're still not quite up on all 4s. They're just trying to sort that out. But these kids, though, they've been up on the all 4s for a couple of days now, and they're quite confident walking all over the place. So next week when we do our update, you may find that we're doing that from the doodle den rather than here in the whelping box, because they may already be on their way out of the whelping box saying, hey, we've got the power, we've got the coordination, and we're ready to rock and roll. So once the puppies are ready to motor around and are moving and cannot be contained within the box safely, that's when we move them out into our doodle den area. Normally I like to wait until they have their eyes and ears open, but if they're precocious enough that they're up and wobbling around before their ears are open, then that's okay, we'll move them around. And precocious is a good adjective for this litter. They are way above the bell curve for average. Oh goodness, there. Orca's getting a little bit enthusiastic about cleaning up orange collar there and just was flipping him over. Didn't bother him in the least. These puppies have all sorts of milestones that they've met, not important ones, but minor ones that they're showing us every day. They are all ahead of the curve. They're doing everything early. And it's interesting to me as a breeder because Spirit, who is Orca's mom, every one of her litters was exactly like this. They were all extremely healthy, very shiny puppies, and they all did everything far ahead of the normal curve for puppies. It didn't matter whether it was opening their eyes, learning how to walk, eating solid food, whatever it was, they were ahead of the game. So it looks like Mama Orca is just keeping in that tradition and having puppies who are simply outstanding. So what have these puppies been doing this week? Well, as you can see, they've been growing. You can see orange collar moving around here. This is an example of how they are now quite confident about getting from A to B. I'm just going to move him over here and see if he won't give you a little bit example of how he can walk. And you can see his back legs are still not quite underneath him 100%. Hi, baby. But he's got lots of strength and they are already starting to get underneath him. So he's well able to move himself back into position at the milk bar here, even though Orca's doing her best to kind of push him out of the way there. Oh, Orca, really. They have mostly been working on developing those motor skills and that strength. That's what they're doing primarily in these days when they are still infant puppies. even when they're sleeping, they're working on developing their muscle tone and their muscle strength. And that's what we've talked about before. When you see the puppies twitching and such when they're sleeping, that's them having their muscles being developed. And now that Orca's out of the way, you can see everybody a little bit better. As for Orca, what she's been up to this past week is deciding that, look, they're doing so well. I really don't need to be in here 24/7. I would like to be out and hanging out with the people more, please. So we are letting her out into the house for longer periods of time. Because this is not her first rodeo, she's quite aware of how much time the puppies really do need her attention and how much time she can afford to spend away from them. Now, when she comes out, it's only for 10-15 minutes at a time. It's not like she's out for hours by any means. She stays fairly close by so that she has an ear open all the time and can hear if they ask for her to come back. But this group of puppies is very quiet. They are always so content because their stomachs are always so full that we don't really ever hear them. We hear some grunts and groans when we pick them up or when they're nursing, but otherwise we don't hear any complaining. We don't hear them making a fuss asking Orca to come in. So they're obviously getting all of their needs met in every way. So for this week, we're going to be looking at the puppies to see if they've opened their eyes. Now, as we were saying last week, the reason their eyes aren't open is because their nervous systems, their brains are not ready to process all of the stimulation that comes from their vision. So it just takes time, and as their system develops, matures, and is ready for it, then their eyes open. That's what causes one puppy to open their eyes on this day, and another puppy maybe not for a few days later. It has no indication whatsoever on whether a puppy is more intelligent or is ahead of things. It's just at a different rate that things are progressing within their bodies. But otherwise, it's irrelevant in terms of, oh, this is the smartest puppy, or this puppy is the overachieving one because their eyes are open first. And then what will follow in the next week to 10 days is their ears will open as well. And what do they see when their eyes open? Not much. Dogs' vision is not as good as humans' vision. It's better in the night than our vision is. They don't see as many colors as we do. For a long time, people thought that dogs just saw gray and various shades of gray, but they do actually see colors. There's some they don't see well, such as red and orange and green. They don't see those well. They can't define between those two. So I always get a kick out of the fact that one of the most famous types of balls that all dogs seem to have are a checkup ball. And we have tons of them, and they're usually bright orange and blue. The orange being the most prominent color. And then you'll throw it and it'll be right there. You can see it as a person and you wonder, well, how come my dog can't find it? Why is he walking all around it? Why don't they just go and get it? I mean, shouldn't they see it? Well, it's because they can't see orange. So that's why they can't see it. And if it's in the grass, they particularly can't see it. So when it's green and orange together, they're like, well, I don't see anything. They can only rely on their nose then. And of course, there's lots of other scents around when you're outside. So that's why they get confused and don't always go directly to the ball. But what these guys are seeing right now is really just a big blur of shapes. They can't recognize us, for instance, yet. They can't even understand yet that this size and shape is Orca and this size and shape is a person. They aren't able to define who we are. They know that we're different when we're in here because they know our smell now, and so they're familiar with that, but they are not organized enough to be able to really see things. By the time they're about 5 weeks old, their vision will be much more clear and crisp, and they'll be able to go, okay, that's the person, that's the dog, that's my mom, that dog looks like it could be my mom, but I'm not positive. They won't be able to identify who Orca is even at the 5-week stage. When they go home, they will be able to pick her out, but at the moment they can't. So that's what's going on with their development in terms of their vision. Otherwise, what they've been up to this week is growing, developing that muscle tone I was talking about, and really this is what you see them doing 90% of the time, sleeping, resting, so that they can grow, so that their systems are developed enough so their ears and eyes can open. And there you can see little black collar was just doing a big twitch like I was talking about for having those muscles start to develop. And you can see purple collar here is a really good example of what juicy puppies we've got here, really wide and broad there, and clearly nobody is lacking in terms of their nourishment. So let's go through the puppies in order now, and we'll get you caught up on their birth weights and tell you who is the biggest and who is the smallest in the litter. Well, I've actually already told you that she is the smallest, little black collar girl. She's been the smallest all along. But if you look at her right there, she looks almost like a St. Bernard, the way the markings are on her face, the broadness of her head, and those paws are not little. The size of those paws tell me this will not remain a small puppy at all. Their paws are usually a good indication of what you can expect in the future in terms of their size. So we're going to go in birth order. I have my trusty handy little app that I use here that has everybody's weights on there, and they're all in their birth order. And the first puppy is Green Collar. Hey buddy. So they can't hear me, so I still am sure to touch them every time before I pick them up, so they understand that something's about to happen, although I'm not sure if Green Collar's even going to wake up for that. Now, because they're sleeping, we might not see eyes, but we will try. I will try to move them around a bit and touch their face with mine to see if we can get, there we go, there's the first pair of eyes. And yes, he has blue eyes, and that's because all puppies are born with blue eyes. His eyes will not stay blue. They will go to a very, very dark brown, almost a black color, rather, not collar. Oh, you still hungry? How can you be hungry, my little pet? So Mr. Green Collar now weighs 1.68 kilograms, or that should be 1 kilogram and 68 grams. So that's 1.068. Is that right, Reynolds? Thank you. I'm always really bad at knowing where the zero goes because I still think in pounds. So he is 1.068. That is a very healthy weight for a 2-week-old puppy. Now you see that he's going to give me his nose because he's used to my scent. He's also been learning my breath, and so he knows, oh yeah, I know who you are. You snuggle me. And there he gave me a little bit of eye contact. That's not really true eye contact because he can't really see too much, but he did look into my eyes, so I'll say it's eye contact. After Green Collar, we have Orange Collar. And this is Orange Collar here. Orange Collar is also a beautiful gleaming ebony, just like his brother Green. And he has these pretty white markings with the marks coming up his face. He's got that cute little tip on his tail, and he's got the white paws. Now, Mr. Orange Collar has his eyes open as well. And there he is showing them off for you. Yeah, that's a good boy. Don't come to me. You show everybody all your pretty eyes. Yeah, oh, there you go. I always think when the puppies open their eyes, that's when we really start to get to know them. Because for people, eye contact is the main thing. For dogs, they get to know us by scent, and their nose tells them who we are. For us, we really use those eyes a lot. So this handsome guy is 973 grams. He hasn't quite broken the kilogram mark quite yet. And you'll see if you look at him though, very broad, very healthy. There's no doubting that he is just at the weight that's just right for him. And after Green Collar, then we have Purple Collar Girl. And so she was our first girl born in the litter, and this is her over here. Come here, sweetheart. Yeah, and Purple Collar is our Chocolate Phantom Girl, and her eyes are not quite open yet. There are little slits, and sometimes we see a little flash, of the eye. There we go. There we go. Did you catch that? A little bit of a slit in the eye there, but they're not fully open. I expect even just in a couple of hours by dinner time tonight, we'll see those peepers all the ways open, right, buddy? Oh, it's a good girl. So this little chocolate phantom girl, she is over the 1 kilogram mark. She is 1.02 kilograms. So she too is doing very nicely. She thinks, see, she's going to smell all over me and go, are you the one that has the milk bar? No, darn it, because I'm always hungry. I always am ready to eat. They're not actually hungry. They're just always happy to eat. They're very, very good eaters, these ones. Oh, sorry, they're pink. Oh, how rude of me. But it's you that I need, so it's a good thing I disturbed you. Pink collar girl. This is our hefty lady. She is the biggest puppy in the litter, and she was the first puppy to open her eyes. The second puppy was green collar, but Miss Pink was first with the eyes opening. Are you going to show anybody your pretty eyes? There we go. There are those beautiful eyes that you can share with everybody. Pink is also an ebony and white girl. She is just like Orca, the way she's marked. She is almost a tuxedo, not technically a full tuxedo, but pretty close, right? And Miss Pinky is 1.231 kilograms. Oh my gosh, she's just getting to be such a hefty girl, aren't you? So it'll be really interesting to see if she's also the one who opens her ears first. There you go, Pinky. After pink collar girl, next we have red collar girl. A red collar girl and green collar boy and pink collar girl all opened their eyes on the same day. They were 11 days old when they opened their eyes. And a really fun story about when red collar girl opened her eyes, Orca's guardian was here and she was holding Red in her arms and took a look and poof, those eyes opened up. It was such a special moment for Rondi, and I'm so glad that she was able to share that, because it's really magical when they do open their eyes the first time. It's somewhat like when we see our child take their first steps. Hey, baby? Yes. So this little lady, another ebony and white girl. You can see a big change from last week, how they're all reaching out with their noses to make contact now. Miss Red is 1.023 kilograms. So she's doing really well, and she's broken that 1 kilogram mark as well. Oh, she's just so tired. She doesn't want to show anybody her eyes again. Go show again. Oh, there we go. Little flash with the big yawn. There you go, Pinky, or Red, I mean. And last but not least is our little black collar girl. Our black collar girl, who is this sort of golden, milky chocolate color, and she is a tuxedo, and she does meet the criteria to be a full tuxedo. The difference being she has the white all the ways up her legs and the white all the ways around her neck. And Miss Black Collar's eyes are open. There they are. Well, she's not going to open them the whole way. Are you being stingy with that? Oh my goodness. They're usually, when they yawn, they tend to open their eyes afterwards. So you can see a little bit of them there. Hey, baby girl. This little lady is still the smallest, as I said, and she is 926 grams. So she and Orange are the only two that haven't broken that all-important 1 kilogram mark. I don't know why it's important, but seems like a big milestone when you're over a kilogram when you're a little puppy. Right, baby girl? So that is all the puppies. They are just doing so well. I'm so enormously proud of this litter. Orca is just a fantastic mom. Like I said, she's feeling like, oh, I pretty much done my job now, don't you think? I'm ready for my vacation. She's lying just in front of the box there, just right beside Reynold. She does have both of her eyes completely on the puppies. She is always watching to see what I'm doing when I'm doing things with them, if I'm weighing them, if I'm cutting their nails, anything like that. She's well aware of what's going on. The puppies have had their nails clipped now, and they've been filed. And the reason why we do that is because the puppies need to get the milk going more quickly, and we don't want them to be scratching mama's milk bar and a possible bacterial infection happening. So they get their claws clipped quite regularly. And when we do their nails as well, we are handling their feet every day, touching all through their toes. And that's all because we want their feet to be desensitized and and have them very used to having their feet touched and not be fussing away about it at any time. We want them to be going home fully comfortable with being touched anywhere and everywhere on their body on a regular basis. So the other thing that will happen with the puppies this week is they'll be wormed for the first time. Puppies generally tend to have worms because there is a dormant worm in all female dogs, and it comes to life when the dog gets pregnant. So generally speaking, those worms transfer to the puppies. So we worm them with an extremely gentle wormer. It just takes care of things, keeps things under control, and to make sure when your puppy goes home to you that they do not have any parasites at all. Now, for our families, what should we be working on this week? Last week we worked on thinking of a name. I told you the name of our keeper girl is going to be Qantas, which means whale, in keeping with Orca. And the other thing was getting your home ready. Now we want you to start the process of searching for a vet, a trainer, and a groomer. These three professional people are going to form very important partnerships with you. You want to start establishing that relationship as soon as possible because they are going to be so important to you and your puppy's life and what happens to them. Vets are as difficult to find right now as human family doctors. So you're going to want to start that hunt right away. And you're also going to want to book your first vet appointment, which is going to be for 3 days after you take your puppy home, so that you go and have an independent wellness exam and know that it's not just myself and my vet who's saying, oh yes, these puppies are healthy, but it's your vet as well who has no skin in the game, so to speak. Hey Orca, you want to come back in and join us? Hi, sweetheart. What do you do with a vet? Mostly what you want to do is find one, hopefully, who closely aligns with your own personal approach to how you wish to care for your dog. And all of our families, you will get a video again next week that's going to help you with finding the right groomer, vet, and trainer. For a trainer, you want to go find somebody who's going to have a puppy socialization class that starts about 10 days after you take your puppy home. That's a good time to start group classes. And those classes are to keep your puppy being able to be desensitized, comfortable in strange environments, with strangers, and with new dogs. Very critical component to your puppy's development. Those classes fill up really quickly, so you'll want to make sure that you find one and that you get your name on that list. And what I suggest for that is you go to a class, you find a couple of ones that are near your area and ask to come and observe, go watch a couple, speak to the trainer. Make sure that the trainer knows what an Australian Labradoodle is, that they don't think it's an Australian Shepherd crossed with a Lab or a Poodle, that they don't think that it is the same as a Labradoodle, that they understand that this is a different breed, and that they understand what does and doesn't work with this breed. What works with a Rottweiler does not work with an Australian Labradoodle. No, okay, you need to come sit on me. Hi. Hi, nice to see you, thank you. You can sit on me if you like. And finally, a groomer. We get a lot of phone calls and people crying because somebody has poodled their doodled, or they've made them look like a schnauzer, or some other disaster has occurred. So again, you want to go and visit the grooming shop, make sure it looks nice and clean and tidy, that you can see in and see the dogs being groomed, and that everybody looks happy. And then you want to ask the groomer how they groom Australian Labradoodles. Make sure they know what an Australian Labradoodle is, and then ask to take a look at their book where they have some photos of the grooming that they've done on an Australian Labradoodle. For our families, when you go home, you will receive a grooming guide that you can take to your groomer so that if they aren't particularly familiar, they have something to follow, and also so that you can feel secure that they have all the information they need to make sure your Labradoodle is cut just the way they should be. And that's it for this week. Next week, as I said, we may be back here, or we may be filming from the Doodle Den if these guys are really moving around. And maybe, Orca, you could just move a tiny bit. So there you go. All your families can see your babies, because I think you're so big you were blocking the way. Yes, I'm sure they think it's very nice to see you. Of course, you're the most important one, but they do like to see their babies. If you have any comments or questions, please make them below here in the video. It really helps us out when we have comments. And if you give us a thumbs up, that would also be really appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I suggest you do. I try to talk about something a little different in each video, so if you keep up with them and follow along, you will just continue to learn more and more about Australian Labradoodles and what could be more fun. So we'll see you again next week for our week 3 update, and thank you so much for watching. Oh, it's Mummy here.